Okay, let's make this a compliment sandwich here. Martin is not a bad writer. In fact, he's actually really good at his job. He's a phenomenal storyteller with a knack for bringing complex topics in a simple way. He has a clear passion for safety, environmentalism, and energy, and I can't take that away from him. He's written for many different publications, including The Atlantic, Fortune, Wired, Time, and the Asian Wall Street Journal. He also worked for a predominant research firm now renamed to Guidehouse Research, which I'm pretty sure it's legit, but all of the sources I've found were very strange. Nonetheless, he's a really smart writer where even if you don't like him, he'll still have you hooked. The book is for a less technically inclined but still environmentally conscious public reader. Chapter 1 starts with introducing a common character throughout the book, Mr. Kirk Sorensen, a good friend of Richard's. Accomplished scientist and self-proclaimed thorium evangelist, founder of the nuclear company Flybe Energy, a company specializing in next-generation molten salt thorium reactors. Most of the book follows the story of how it should have been thorium to take over the nuclear industry instead of uranium, but it didn't play out that way because of economics, politics, and defense. And I agree, early nuclear energy was loaded with people meddling to try to fulfill their own financial interests or their own defense interests. Where I disagree is on the why. He generally seems to have a mentality that uranium advocates are trying to destroy thorium in exchange for pushing up uranium, instead of trying to become a joint effort to push up both thorium and uranium through pushing up nuclear in general. He also likes to misattribute technologies used in uranium reactors as if they are unique and exclusive to thorium reactors. He also seems to be under the impression that thorium reactors don't produce radioactive waste that needs to be handled like uranium waste does. I think I know where he got that from.
Take a closer look at that snout.
A lot of this book suffers from a term that I like to call hope slop, where you exclusively focus on positives and embellish the positives to try to make things seem more hopeful than they are, even if things are in fact hopeful. He says that thorium doesn't need any processing before it becomes fuel, when in fact it does when you need to take it out of the molten salt to remove the uranium-233. Now, I'm not going to pretend this is a one-sided fight. The Amazon reviews prove otherwise.
He's following the fishing gurus on hot fishing, and what can you expect from a man with his loyalties to hot fishing? We're on a path to capitalist destruction of the human race. Hopefully cold fusion will win before it's too late. Hot fission is not green.
He also seems to gloss over the fact that palladium-233 needs to constantly be processed out of a thorium reactor, or else you will lose it to transmuting to palladium-234. This is not trivial. This is extensive fuel processing that he is so afraid of uranium reactors having to do.
Yeah, some days I feel unfazed, like when I'm with my friends with a cup raised.
Martin is great at motivating the reader. You'll feel like you've been robbed of something great that you could have had because this technology didn't make it where it should have.
Oh, we were right there, man!
The call to action at the end of the book is incredibly effective at making you want to do something about this, and that something can be done about this. Martin can really tug at your heartstrings and make you feel a personal attachment to the success of thorium energy. I also think it has great value in getting people interested in nuclear who weren't otherwise or didn't know that they would be.
Legalize nuclear bombs.
I'm not going to pretend to like this book. I don't, but I acknowledge that it's an extremely valuable and important book for a lot of people out there and could be more valuable for people in the future. It paints the world of nuclear energy in such a fascinating and exciting light that I think it would bring more people to nuclear if they read it, even if they would then have to talk to someone else and realize that a lot of the stuff in the book that talks down on uranium is not in fact actually a negative for uranium. If you're into nuclear, or you want to get into nuclear, give it a read. It might frustrate you at times if you already know a lot about nuclear stuff, or your name is Rod Adams, who has a very scathing review of this book with
Too much voodoo for our purposes.
in his language in the review, in my opinion.
早上好，中国，现在我有
But I still think you'll enjoy it because it is a very well written book. Just don't take his advice on weapons proliferation security.
What does he even do? He does his best.